was just, I just want to see Dan. I'm sorry, you picked me up. I'm pretty hard on it, let me tell you. Yeah. Yeah. All right. You're ready. Just chew it.
Right to questions.
Right to questions. Okay, I'll take it.
Maybe before we get started with questions, I'll just start with a quick note, and hopefully everybody here will just keep our sports information director, Jeff Greesh, in their prayers as he had a procedure yesterday, and our team is just keeping him in our thoughts and prayers, and hopefully you all will do the same. We had a great first practice yesterday, and just really, really excited about the potential of this group and the way that they are going to come together. So just excited for the upcoming season. Lots of good things on the horizon, and happy to answer questions.
Coach, Sam Hoiberg obviously out for the year. So how did the team sort of take that, and how did you kind of present that news?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we were all just completely heartbroken for Sam, but the way that our team has really embraced that, let me just tell you guys about what Sam Hoiberg means to our team and her teammates. This team, it's like almost like there's a little pep in their step, because they've just talked long and hard about what Sam Hoiberg has done for this program and the way that she has completely elevated our program, and that they feel like we absolutely owe it to her to find ways to just continue to raise the bar for our program, and kind of they are really excited to play hard and come together kind of in her honor and out of respect for her, and she just remains an incredible leader for our program. And yesterday, our team has always embraced we do hard things. And yesterday we were having a little team meeting at the beginning of our, before our first practice, and Sam's voice was one of the loudest in the room, and just her contributions continue to be felt, and I know that this group is really going to come together and lean hard on her and play hard for her the whole season.
Amy, can you share with us what the injury is, and if it was a basketball injury or not?
It's a basketball injury, yes, and a knee injury that will require surgery.
Do you expect her back next year?
That's right now, we're just kind of giving Sam time to process everything that's just kind of happened. I think obviously in her individual case, she really wanted to play with this team and this year. And so just giving her some time to really emotionally come to grips with the fact that she won't be on the court with us this season, and some time to really process what her future holds. We'll make sure that you guys are aware as she continues to plan for her future, kind of what those plans are.
And from a basketball sense, how does that affect rotations and minutes and all that stuff? Obviously, you probably can't fill that void with one person.
Right, yeah. I mean, obviously, she's meant a lot to our team, just as kind of the only player in our program's history that's reached those milestones in all points and assists and rebounds, and just the way that she's just an all-around player. So it's we know that's not going to be one player coming in to step in and take her place, but it's going to be contributions from our entire roster, and everybody having to kind of elevate their game, and we're really still kind of making those determinations. We've been practicing for a while this summer and preseason in just short 1 hour practices. You know, we get the 4 hours a week in the summertime and 4 hours a week in the preseason to be on the court together. And as we were working through those things. We're still kind of evaluating, where all of those contributions are going to come from and how we'll work that together. But with our official 20-hour week segment starting now, we're excited to have a few more looks at our team and a little more time with them on the court to kind of make those determinations.
What kind of impact can Matt?
You said her voice has been really loud and strong as a leader, but how has she handled this? Obviously, it's not something you expect or want.
Yeah, I mean, I think she just initially was really heartbroken and kind of devastated, but then Sammy has a incredibly strong faith and really great support system just at home with just amazing family. Some really great teammates and friends and a coaching staff that absolutely adores her. And so I think she's leaned into all of those supports and just has found ways to understand that there is a plan. And none of us may like it right now or may understand it, but she's really trusting that. And I'm proud of her for the faith that she's showing.
What kind of impact can Maddie Cole make? And if you could compare her to a player you've had, who would that be?
Yeah, Maddie, we are really excited to have her in the mix, and I think she can make an incredible impact because she's just a tough, hard-nosed competitor. It's the best thing that she brings to the table every day. She's diving on the floor for loose balls. She just makes things happen, and she's. I have a hard time kind of coming up with a comparison for Maddie. She's a little unorthodox, but just finds a way to make plays and just that competitive spirit. It's just everything we're looking for in Nebraska women's basketball, and so there's no doubt that she'll find a way to impact things.
Does she make contributions in hustle categories throughout the course of a game that may not show up tangibly but shows up intangibly?
Yeah, I mean, I think so, and some of it does show up, like if you're really looking, like the number of assists to turnovers in extended minutes of game minutes at a high level. She just takes care of the balls, makes good decisions, is a great passer, does the right thing, comes away with loose balls. Yesterday, there was a loose ball pretty much everybody, including myself, kind of gave up on, and next thing you know, she had secured the basketball, wasn't having to try to save it in, but really secured it and stood with possession inbounds. And I'm like, I think it surprised everybody in the gym. Those are the type of plays that she makes for our group.
What's kind of the plan for Maggie Mendelson? Obviously, it's a unique situation, but what conversations have you had with her, and just what's kind of the plan moving forward?
Yeah, we're first of all, we're just so excited to be in the crowd, just cheering for her. What a stud she is! It's just so fun to watch her having fun out there and excelling as a 17-year-old on the court with the number 3 team in the nation. And it's been fun. We're really supporting her right now in her role with our volleyball team. We enjoyed training with her during the month of June. She arrived to campus in June and trained with women's basketball during that month. So we were able to have her kind of learn some of the just basics of our system and schemes, so that when she does report back to the women's basketball team, it's not all brand new and foreign to her. So, we're thrilled and excited. You guys can see when you watch her on the volleyball court right now, she's just incredible athlete, just very bouncy and springy, has great timing, is so coachable. You kind of tell her one time, and she adjusts footwork and things. So we'll be very excited. We think she'll give us a really strong push once she is able to play in a national championship game with our volleyball team, and then have a little bit of time to recover her body. But then once she reports back to women's basketball, we'll be welcoming her with open arms.
Are you in communication with her at all, or are you just kind of hands off for now?
Yeah, we talk to her all the time. She rooms with Callan Hake, one of our other freshmen, as well as a couple other volleyball players, and so they're constantly in communication. She is gets the best of both worlds. She gets to be a part of two really cool teams that are tight, and sometimes is hanging out with the basketball girls watching the Bachelorette, and sometimes hanging out with the volleyball team and hosting recruits. And she's just been able to find a way to acclimate herself with both teams. And right now we touch base with her, but we're really allowing her to keep her focus on just helping that team that she's a part of right now win and move forward.
Amy, with the success you had last year and the number of returners you have for this year, do you get the sense of how good this team could be?
Yeah, I think we're still kind of figuring that all out. We feel like that at this point in time, we're really not going to rest on any type of laurels of anything that happened in the past. And obviously, even with that recent injury of Sam, it changes some things. But I think the best thing is that this team is driven and motivated to want to raise the bar for our team. I think we have absolute potential to do that, but the one thing we know is that it really will boil down to chemistry and culture and how well we click and play together. That was something that helped lead to a lot of the success that we had 1 year ago, and so this is a new year, and we know that we have to spend and invested, we have to commit and invest 100% over to having that same type of chemistry and culture to do something special this year as well.
Alexis kind of burst onto the scene last year. Teams might be gunning for more. What did you want her to work on between last year and this year?
To be honest with you, I asked her what she wants to work on, and she's motivated and driven to. She wants to finish a little bit at a higher clip and higher percentage, and she's worked incredibly hard to do that. She's been putting in a lot of work just to improve 1% her footwork on certain things inside, and just expanding her game so that people can't get to her to double quite so quickly and certain things. So, and she's continued to really work hard on her perimeter game and perimeter shooting and just confidence in that area. And we're seeing all that hard work that she's had in the postseason, off season, starting to really come together and pay off.
Everybody else full go for practice. Dylan, Brady.
Yeah, they've been practicing hard. We feel like, okay, so Callan Hake and Maddie Kroll and Maggie Mendelson are our new kids, but kind of to some degree, Naila Dillard, who has not yet played any minutes in a Husker uniform because of 2 years worth of surgeries, and Trinity Brady, they've been back into practice, and it's been just outstanding to have them there, and Trinity is just kind of a presence, even though this is her 4th year in our program, and really she's only played a year and 2 games worth. And so to see her back out there, but she just is competing like a veteran in practice. She just knows where to be, makes the right plays, doesn't try to do things that are outside of her capabilities, but is just incredibly solid. And her teammates are recognizing that, noticing that, and really pumping her up about that, and it's just good to have her back.
A year or 2 in the program for Jazz. What do you want to see out of her this year?
Yeah, I think I just want to see more of the same. I think, she was really a catalyst that made a lot of things happen for us 1 year ago. And so if we can continue to have her bringing those things to the table, she makes everybody on the floor better. I think, there is a possibility that we may have to have her with the ball in her hands more often, and being able to help with she played a lot of kind of point guard, combo guard alongside Sam Hybe 1 year ago. And I think, her and Allison Widener being able to kind of play off each other quite a bit with the ball in their hands this year will be something. But I think she's more than capable of being that floor general and really kind of the coach on the floor. And I think now that she understands our system and what we're trying to do, and she's just such a high IQ basketball player that I think her being able to take over some reins of really knowing what play calls to make in the heat of the moment and things like that will be awesome in her growth.
Especially with Sam out, have you seen more from her in a leadership standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen her stepping up in that leadership category, even with Sam, and I think, you know, they'll tag team those responsibilities. Them and Jazz, Sammy, and Izzy have been outstanding leaders. I think they'll continue to do so. I think, you know, initially when you're brand new into the program, it's really hard to kind of understand where the leadership is needed. But after 1 year in our program, I think Jazz is really comfortable and confident. She has a lot of experiences coming with her from playing with world championship teams in Australia and previous teams that she's been a part of. She has a lot of great experiences that she can bring to the table to help with leadership.
What do you want the next 6 weeks to look like? What will make it successful?
Yeah, I think to me, what's going to make it successful is just finding ways to get better each and every day. And I think that's the biggest focus for our program right now is just, you know, continuing to have joy playing with and for each other and just competing and getting after it and understanding and knowing that, you know, we got a little better at this today, we got a little better at this today. And we have some, you know, telescope goals that are down there that we really want to accomplish for this group and for raising the bar for our program. But if we can just keep in the next 6 weeks our focus on the microscope, what's here today, what do we need to do today to get a little bit better. And so we're just emphasizing that process over outcome and just having fun with it. And to me, if every day we're walking off the court and I'm seeing those smiles on their faces and they're playing with joy and playing for each other, then we're heading in the right direction.
Anything else for Coach Williams? Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Probably not a Collins thing. Hello. How's it going?
All right, we'll start with Coach Cook. Huskers are at Rutgers, Maryland this weekend.
You know, I remember when I first started coaching here, we used to have Valentinos. We take the recruits. It was all buffet, all like $3.99, all you can eat. You guys get it for free up here. It's pretty cool. Just things never change, do they? We've got an interesting couple weeks here. I think we're going to be on the road 8 days in the next 2 weeks with these split schedules. So that's a big challenge for us, is how we're going to manage school, being away. And what I've learned in the first couple weeks here, or the first week in the Big Ten and nationally, there's a lot of teams that can beat a lot of teams. So it's going to be really, really important. You know, our theme right now is really, really important. Doesn't matter who you're playing, what their record is. You bet we got to bring our A game, and we got to go in super prepared. So that's what we're focused on right now, and then trying to how we're going to offensively be better.
Do you prefer these road trips where you have a day between matches as opposed to back-to-backs?
I don't know. Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know. It gives us a day to prepare, gives us a day to rest, but it makes a long road trip. I mean, it's 4 days, you know, and then we turn right around and do it again next week with a short week. So that's a good question. From a coach's perspective, I like it, but you know, it's a lot of time sitting in a hotel and sitting around. So we'll have to see. We haven't done this before, so we've done where we've a couple times where we played Friday, Sunday. So that's a good question. I don't know.
Was that a feedback given to the Big Ten that they kind of made that adjustment, or was that TV, or do you know why there's a lot more of those this year?
So this week, Maryland has a football game, so they just move it to Sunday. And unlike, we're always going to try to find a way to play the same day as football, but some schools don't want to deal with it. So that's why we got moved to Sunday. Next week, Michigan State is trying to play in Breslin Center. So there must have been a conflict Friday, so the Big Ten asked us to move to Thursday, and so I go to our administration and say, well, you know, we're trying to stay under budget, but that's going to be another night of hotels, another day of food. You know, it's expensive when you're taking a group like we have, another day of the charter sitting there. So, but we're trying to do what help these schools out, and so that's why that one came up. That was supposed to be a Friday, Saturday.
Looking back at the Ohio State film, was it as good as you thought, bad as you thought, or exactly what you thought?
It was a heck of a match. I thought very intense. We didn't play super clean, and like we can. I don't know if Ohio State feels that way, but we made a lot of big plays and found a way to get to Game 5, which was huge. And I thought if we could get to Game 5, we'd have a chance if we could put it together, and we did, and made a couple of big plays. And that's what I've been challenging our team. If you want to win 2-point games, you got to make big plays when it matters most. And I'll tell this story for Tom Chattel because we grew up with the Chargers, San Diego Chargers. That's what they used to be before they were LA. And Don Coryell was the coach, and they get down to the end of the game and they have all these trying to figure out what plays they're going to call, whatever. And then Don Coryell takes Dan Fouts and just says, throw it to JJ. So he'll know what I'm talking about because I just want to entertain him and, make it special here because I saw him on the news. He was at the Creighton men's basketball practice yesterday. So anyway, it comes down to, you got to throw it to the right guy and make a big play. And for us, it's setting the right person, it's making a big play, serving a tough serve. And that's what this team, we lost a lot of close games last year, and I've been on them the whole year about winning those close matches. And so they did a great job, and, we made a couple really big plays.
Who's your J.J. Jefferson then?
John Jefferson, great receiver.
Yeah. Well, who is yours, Jefferson?
Oh, well, we got a lot, but depends who's in the front row.
Right.
But It's Whitney and Maddie have been merging. Lindsey Krause's made some big plays. We also have to make a big serve. We served really tough at the end there and gave us chances. And, Becca Alec had a huge kill, which we couldn't run that play all night, and they run it in Game 5, and she just, that was an impressive play by her. Ani setting her and Becca killing it. So I want everybody to feel like they're the JJs.
How much have you seen Kennedy kind of grow, especially this year when things haven't always gone her way?
She, what was great for her was in Game 5, she went competitive mode and played really well. And that was good to see because it could have gone a lot of different ways. But she's a great competitor, and she really stepped it up in Game 5.
What's been the response from your team? Obviously, Saturday was such an emotionally draining match and you yourself got emotional after it. How have they kind of responded in practice this week?
Well, we only had one practice, and they got after it because they don't have a choice. So you can pretty much say that every day. We're going to get after it every day in practice, and they understand that, and they come in and, I told them we got to get better today, and so they respond great.
Don, how do you explain these service error numbers? It seems kind of abnormal.
I have no idea. I don't know if it's the curse of Devaney. It's unreal. I mean, it's mind-boggling. I have no idea. One theory is we start off missing serves, so then the other team starts missing, and then it just goes from there. So I don't know. It's crazy. But no. And we pretty much have the same servers, but from last year, we were a great serving team, and but here, here's the other good thing about it is, we just went 2 matches against Michigan State, 3 games, and Ohio State against 5, and only got ace 1 time. That's pretty dang impressive. And we're trying to get more aces, which we're starting to get a few more, but I don't know if it's, it's hard to play against us, so you feel like you got to crank up your serve because you got to deal with so many good hitters. But I don't know. I don't know if it's the stress of being in Devaney, but I'm seeing it in some other gyms too. So it's, but we gotta smooth that out.
Yeah, we just talked to Amy about Mendelson. How unique of an athlete is she, and how you guys are going to manage the, obviously she's yours right now, but what kind of athlete is her? Is she that pulled this off?
She's, she just got a great mindset. She's a great competitor. I just looked at our stats after 20 points. I mean, she plays her best volleyball after 20 points. If you look at her stats, she's still young, but we've thrown her into kind of a new spot. She doesn't care. She wants to play, and she competes. And that's her gift. She's a great competitor, and that's how if you're going to do 2 sports, you better love competition.
What areas have you seen her develop the most in the first month and a half of the season?
Just getting comfortable with the role we've created for her, and understanding. Going against these great hitters and blocking them, and we're still trying to figure out how to get her a few more kills. And we made some adjustments this weekend, and I think it helped. But you don't just do that. And you just don't change your golf shot in one day and go out and shoot 10 strokes better. I don't know. Maybe some of you guys do. I don't know. But
Don, you've only been out of the state once so far this year, and that was for the Kentucky match. You guys ready to, maybe get away? Experience some of the things that occur when you're away.
Yeah, one of the good things is when we go on these longer road trips, it gives me a chance to sit down with them, check in with their goals, how they're doing. We get to watch more video than because our schedules are so tight here. So it does give us some time to really connect, and we don't go. Some teams go to New York and go downtown or whatever. We're still business, but it gives us time to connect, which I like. We have some free time.
John, how much is when you go to these places, the Marylands, the Michigan State, that you guys are so marked because of your rank? Do you feel like, and does it take time for maybe younger players to get used to that, or is that not a big deal about being such a target?
They get indoctrinated here.
Going on the road, being like that's their biggest match, one of the biggest matches for those home teams of the year, right? I mean,
I think they're used to it. I mean, they just understand it's Nebraska and this is the way it is.
Why are you fine with playing when there's a home volleyball match when there's also a home football game? Or why do you want to do that when other people are moving around?
Yeah, well, first of all, we like to give them Sundays off so they have a day off, because if you play Sunday and then you take Monday off, they really don't get a day off because they're in school. So they never really get a day to themselves, and I see that wear on athletes. And then, why not? And I'm glad Nebraska has the capability and the administrative support that they want to do that. And it's a great day for, let's say people are driving. I already know how many people come from like North Platte to our matches and have season tickets. Because when I go speak, I always ask, who has season tickets? When 200 people raise their hands, I'm like, are you guys kidding me? You guys drive all the way to Nebraska volleyball matches? And they go, yeah. And it's all over the western part of the state. And what's great is they can come in for football, volleyball, make it a great day, spend the weekend in Lincoln. Hotels like it. Barry's likes it. So everybody's happy. And I think our players, I think, like playing the same day as football. It's a sports day. And then Sunday should be a day to recover and take a nap and, get caught up.
More questions for Coach?
Man, you guys are into it today.
And after coach, we'll have a few players to follow up here at the podium.
Good morning, how y'all doing? Well, we use this week to reset, refocus, and then improve. You know, as we get back into Big Ten play, you know, our kids got to look at this as a fresh start. As a, you know, just a brand new start in Big Ten play. It'll be our second Big Ten football game. Indiana on offense presents a lot of problems. They had 104 snaps versus Cincy last week. They snap it faster than third fastest team in the country snapping the ball. So it's going to present a problem for our defense. But at the end of the day, it's homecoming. It's a night game. And we're excited to get back in front of our fans in Memorial Stadium.
How do you counter that pace that Indiana's going to come at you with on your, especially with the defense, knowing some of the issues you guys have had this year?
Well, my thing is get the calls in. Bill's got to get the calls in, and we got to execute the call.
Vicky, what kind of stuff generally have you done to enhance, to prod along that reset that you talked about?
Well, we gave them off. We gave them off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, brought them back Sunday. So we gave them time to let their body heal, let them get away from football, let them get with their families. So that's the things we did this past weekend.
Kevin Williams wasn't on the two deep. Is there an update on him? And just sort of, how do you feel about your O-line setup right now, and maybe Piper having a bigger role?
Yeah, Piper will start at left guard. Kevin will be out. He had surgery at high ankle sprain, so he had surgery, so he'll be out maybe 2 to 3 weeks, 2 to 3 more weeks. But, you know, at the end of the day, the ball's going to kick off Saturday, so we got to get our best 5 on the field. But Piper will start at left guard.
Mickey, what was the competition like during practice last week? I know you parked on Nebraska versus Nebraska. Did you see that?
Yes, I did. It was really good competition. We got after each other. And today we was getting ready for Indiana, and I was happy with their effort today because we talked about effort between you and you, and they gave us that today and last week.
Mickey, there was times in the past where some of the defenders said that the calls were getting in at a good pace. How do you change that, especially with the changeover on the defensive leadership side?
Well, sometimes with tempo teams, you're going to get a call in. So the next call, they got to get their eyes over to the sideline right away and get the call. And it's got to be one word's got to tell you everything. The front, the coverage, the blitz. So we do a lot of one-word things. But the linebackers have to really get the calls from the sideline, and the safeties have to get the signals so we can get going.
Nicky, it's a night game, Memorial Stadium, and I know you played here, but, you know, first night game as a head coach, does it feel a little different knowing what the night games are kind of like here at Lincoln?
No, it doesn't feel different because at the end of the day, football is a football game. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but night, morning, we have to play football, and everything's special. It's always special to me when I can walk into Memorial Stadium. It's always special, night, morning, afternoon. But this is homecoming, it's a night game. Like I said, we're going to be excited to be back in front of the fans.
What do you think Bill Bush can do in a short amount of time, 2 weeks, to maybe change the defense or transform it a little bit?
Well, we eliminated some things that we did in the past, but Bill's not out there by himself. He's the D-line coach, the linebacker coach, and the secondary coach. They're all working together, and they're working together well. I told those guys yesterday how I appreciate them jumping on board. So they've been meshing, and sometimes it's hard to do that, but they've been meshing. But Bill's sharp. Bill's a really good football coach. He understands what I want. I got to see him in action at LSU, with Dave Aranda. So he knows what I want. He knows what he's doing.
What about that experience at LSU made you believe in Bill for this role?
But like I said, I competed against him every day. I went against him every day. And he was thorough about what he was doing, and we shared notes all the time. And he was detailing what he was doing. And he coached some really good football players. But he also coached some kids that was average that looked good, because of he's a great teacher. And that's what you got to be a good football coach. You got to be a great teacher.
What makes a good teacher?
Detailing things, knowing how the kid learns. It goes back to, teaching. That's why, teachers are special people in this world, because they have to look at a kid and say, okay, this kid learns this way, this kid learns this way. And Bill's doing that. Bill's breaking it down. And so is the other guys on the defensive staff. The offensive staff are doing the same thing.
Hey, Mickey, you guys went out on the road this past week with the rest of
to the staff. What was the reception like for you guys out there?
It was great. It was great. You know, everybody still loves Nebraska. All our commitments are still in. We had one decommit, but we can understand that. But everybody, the reception was great with all the coaches.
Thank you so much. It's only been 16 days, I think you've been the interim, but have things slowed down for you? Is there a comfort level that you feel like you've achieved to a certain degree?
I think coming back from New Orleans, it slowed down for me because I got to get out on the road as the head coach. I got to have an off week as the head coach. You know, thrown into the fire the first week, that's okay. That happens. That happens. And you just got to bow your neck and get going. But Sept has. It slowed down for me, and I had to do that. I had to sit back and just think about things and slow it down myself, and I did that.
How was that reception for you? What was the experience like getting back home, first time in this role? Did you get to see, I know you're there for business, but did you get to see some friends and family too?
Yes, saw my dad, but everybody wants a job. Everybody wants a job. Everybody had answers. So, you know, it was good to see old friends. It was good to see old coaches, but everybody had all the answers and everybody wanted jobs. So, straight, typical New Orleans.
How do you feel about your running backs, Mickey? I mean, you mentioned the A.J. Allen injury last week, but Gabe Ervin stepping into a bigger role. What do you feel about that group now going forward?
Well, you know how we feel about A.G. Grant's a really good player and real confident in Gabe. Gabe ran the ball well at the end of the game against OU. Let me tell you about Gabe. Gabe's a high-character kid. When things didn't go his way, he didn't sit on the sideline and pout. He bowed his neck. He waited until he got his opportunity, and he took advantage of it. So we have a lot of confidence in Gabe.
Mickey, what's been the most difficult part about taking over as interim coach so far?
Just learning, you know, thanks to Andrew and my crew over there, and just learning everything, just kind of taking everything in. It's a lot to do. Like, I don't really enjoy this, you know. I really don't, to tell you the truth. I'm not that type of dude that want to be in front of the cameras all the time, but that's what the job brings. So I have to do it, but I got to depend on my guys, you know, Keith and everybody, and Matt to help me with this, and I'm always open. The people that help me the most are the players, because they're bought in and no resistance. They're bought into what we're trying to do. But it wasn't easy. It's not easy.
You mentioned last week about over the course of the week there'd be some younger guys who surfaced. Are there some guys you would even feel comfortable mentioning who you think are on the cusp of helping you that haven't been in main roles yet? Or how do you feel that's happening as far as depth with the younger guys?
Well, we got some younger guys that we want to look at. You know, Malcolm's one of them. Malcolm's going to play some corner. Gold's going to play some safety. We're trying to find our best 11 guys and get them on the field. And, you know, so we got to find those guys. And so we're going to go through those young kids and see if they can get it done. And if they can get it done, we'll give them some reps on Saturday. But they've been great today and last week. They've been great.
What's your message to young guys, like in their first year of college football in the portal era, to stay with it, you know, to stay patient? What do you tell those guys?
Well, you got to keep encouraging them, and you got to let them know when their time comes that they got to be ready to go. And then you got to put them in the game. And that's what we're going to do. We got to put them in the game and see what they can do. But you're right. You have to recruit. You have to recruit your team right now with the portal.
Mickey, how much, you know, with all the change that's happened to this point in the season and some of the rough results, I mean, how much would it mean? How much do you think, where would the team go if they were able to get a win? How important would that be if they did pick up a win?
I think it's important. I think beating Indiana is the number one goal, but it's really important for this football team just to get some confidence that they can start something and finish it. And that's our goal, to beat Indiana.
Hey, Mickey, where is Ernest Hausman at in the conversation? I don't think I saw him on the depth chart yesterday. Is he still in the mix at linebacker, or is he just going to be more special teams here?
He's going to be both, but he's still in the mix. He's still in the mix at linebacker also.
Where does he need to come the furthest to kind of get back up there?
With all those young kids, just you ask me, it has a slow down for them. It has a slow down in their head. You know, this game is a fast game compared to Friday nights. Saturday afternoons and Saturday nights are really fast. So he had to slow down for him. But he's an intelligent kid. He's a really good athlete. And he just got to keep developing. But he's always going to be in the mix.
What are you doing to prepare your team for the Temple of Indiana this week?
Working with the scout team, getting them lining up quick and having the guys recognize the formation and then snap the ball. But the thing, recognize the formation, get your feet in the ground, and then let's go. Let's play football.
I think Casey turns 24 next week. I don't want to load this question up too much, but how much does it help your nerves to have a veteran guy at that position?
Casey's 24? Man, I've been knowing Casey for since he's a baby. But it's good. It's good. It's a veteran. I mean, it was back in the old Nebraska days when you had all those fifth-year seniors out there and everybody was 24 years old. So that's okay because it's no rush to get out there in the roar. I know in the NFL says, oh, we want them to be young. But usually those young kids go in there and they're not mature enough. But I didn't know Casey was going to be 24. I thought he was younger than that. But it's good to have a veteran quarterback at 24. That's old.
Mickey, how have you seen the defensive guys respond to Bill Bush's coaching style and some changes that were made as well? Have they been receptive, and how have they kind of reacted to some of those?
They've been receptive because we talked to them about Sunday, about team unity, about being one, and everybody to do their job. But they've been very receptive with what's going on. Like I said, the kids been great. The kids have bought in. They've been great. With everything that they've been through, they've been great. They haven't blanked. They're moving forward.
How much more in the last month communication have you had with Trev, and how much is he a sounding board for when you want to vent?
Well, we talk, just the normal talk like before I took this job. We meet on Sundays, but we don't talk every day. I talk to my brothers every day. I don't talk to people every day.
Mickey, the offense took a step back in the last game. What do you want to see over the next 5 days before the game get back rolling there?
We want to be more consistent. We want to keep the drives going. We got to be better on third downs, and we talked about that. Whip understands that, but I'm sure that the kids, they understand it also. But I'm sure that we'll be better Saturday.
How are you getting kick and punt returns going?
We gotta hold up. You're talking about the Charlie unit, the punt return unit. We got to hold up on the outside, and we got to force the return. We got to force the return. We're looking for one of those special teams to make a big play this week. We need one of them to make a big play, and we challenged them with that.
Mickey, you have sort of this national coaching search sort of in the background of this season. Did you address with the guys at all at any point, like, hey, you guys are going to have some distractions, you might see a bunch of rumors? I mean, how did you address that if you did?
Well, we always talk about blocking out the noise. So we're not going to worry about who the search firm's talking to because, like I said before, Nebraska deserves to have a national search. And like our interviews right now, the next 8 games, that's your interview. So we can't do anything about that. And we also talk to them, control what you can control. We can't control that. So we're going to block out the noise and we're going to focus on Indiana.
Coach, you've changed your practice schedule, you've changed how you practice, you changed your mentality in terms of how you practice. Have you seen improvements in these last couple of weeks compared to the weeks prior to before you made all that change in practice?
Yes, tremendous improvement. They're flying around, they're thudding up, tremendous improvement. Like I said, they bought in.
What does Omar Brown bring to that nickel spot that's maybe a little different than what he would have been asked to do as more of a DB?
Well, he's a kid. He's very athletic. We wanted to get him closer to the ball. We like his coverage skills because at safety, you got to be a combination of a linebacker and a corner. And the nickel, you got to be the same. And we like his covering skill, covering slots. We also know that he'll stick his face in the fan and make tackles already. But he's very athletic, and we wanted to get him closer to the ball.
Couple more, Coach.
Coach, what did you do Saturday? Did you watch some college football? And what, did anything stand out from where you watched?
Watch college football. No, I was recruiting. I was at a 9 o'clock practice. Then I went to a 2 o'clock game. Then I went to a 6 o'clock game. I don't have time to watch other guys play. I didn't even watch my brother play. I don't even know if I didn't find out they lost until Monday morning talking to him. I'm focusing on what's going on at Nebraska. I don't really have time to watch games like that.
What intrigues you, and Coach Bush will talk to him tomorrow about Hart, because he hadn't played much until now he's unsettled. What intrigues you about him?
Malcolm's a go-getter. He's a tough kid from Mississippi that don't blink. It's not too big for him. He was a really good player coming out of high school. And like I said, he's a smart kid. We just got to get him reps. But he deserves to get in there and have a chance to play.
He was kind of a late bloomer, that's the way that Nebraska's coaches described it. Was he on LSU's radar at all, or did that happen late, or not really?
No, I don't think he was on LSU radar, but When I left LSU, I didn't know who they were recruiting, and I didn't care who they were recruiting.
Anything else for Coach? All right.
Thank you, guys.
How's it going?
Go ahead with questions.
Our way.
Brody, Mickey was talking about the team just having a reset and seeing it as a new start.
Yeah.
What did you see over the last 10 days or whatever?
Yeah, I can follow through with that. Mickey, he's kind of getting a different feel at practice and stuff, and kind of a different vibe going around, and practice kind of switched up a little bit, and I can see that. It's definitely a reset for us, and every week we're thinking, we're going 1-0 that week, 0-0 going into the game, and it's just beat the team in front of us.
Brody, there's not a ton of players that are on the team that have seen as much change as you have kind of over the last few years. Can you kind of just take me through that, going back to when you were a freshman and where you are now?
Yeah, I believe change is inevitable, in programs. You don't want to see this much change in a program in such short time, but, sometimes it's for the better. Change can also be a good thing, and I think Mickey taking over is a good thing for our program. I think he'll lead us in the right direction, but, change it can be brutal sometimes. I've seen a lot of different position coaches, a lot of switch-ups, but, if you find the right guy, things will work out for you.
You and the guys in the receiver room have seen more of Mickey than guys in other rooms, especially on defense. Have you seen the leadership from your receiver room kind of him do that?
Yeah, having Mickey in the receiver room, it kind of gave us a glimpse of what he was able to do, as a head coach. And, I think Mickey's a great guy for the job. And, we've seen a lot of things from him in that room. And I'm sure that he can turn this place around. And a lot of things that he does in the receiver room, it kind of gets us going. And, instead of being that laid-back guy in our room, he's kind of has to voice over the whole team now. And, I think he's the right guy for it.
He said that he likes the way that Bill Bush meets guys with in terms of learning style. You worked with Bill on special teams. How did you see that dynamic play out?
Yeah, Bill Bush, he kind of has a different coaching style, but it's one that I certainly love. He's kind of a hard ass at times, but it's a good kind of hard ass, and a lot of things that he says are pretty, he knows a lot of football. He's been through a lot of the game, and you really just got to pay attention to what he says, because he says some minute details, and you just got to pick him up. And Bill Bush is a great coach, and I'm happy for him.
When you say he's the good kind of hard ass, what is the good kind?
I mean, someone who's gonna rip your ass, but he means well by it. He's not just doing it because he hates you or something. He wants to see you succeed and come over that hill to become the best you.
The point about the learning styles, I don't know if you would just have an idea how to describe yours, but if you could, what do you think that is? How do you learn, and how did Bill meet you on that?
Yeah, for me, my learning style is more of on the field. I got to be coached, a certain way on the field for me, because to me that translates to the room. Because in the meeting room, it picks up a lot easier for me when we learn it on the field first, and you can see it, with 11-on-11 guys.
Brody, was there any games on Saturday night that had your attention in particular?
Yeah, I guess one in particular, Kansas State-Oklahoma game. It was a great game to watch, and my man Adrian played super well, and I'm super happy for him to take down a top 10 team, and hopefully they keep on going.
What went through your mind when you saw him do your celebration?
It was super cool. I was happy for him. I obviously hit him up after the game and gave him a little shit talking, but that's just how we are, and you know, we're boys like that. So it was cool to see him. It was cool to see him do that.
So you guys talked after the game. I mean, what did you guys kind of say?
I mean, we just talked about, you know, his game, how he played. You know, I thought he played super well, and I mean, I don't want to get super deep into that, but you know, he's doing good.
Brody, what was competition like during practice last week? I know Mickey was kind of preaching Nebraska versus Nebraska. Did you see that play out on the practice field?
Yeah, definitely. We kind of switched up a lot of things that week, and you know, we were really sticking to the basics, trying to get back to what we know best, and you know, really repping the same things over and over to make sure that we get those things right. But it was definitely Nebraska versus Nebraska. We weren't focused on any teams, anybody down the road. You know, we were really focused on us this week, and I think we got a lot better because of it.
Brody, what can it do for guys when Coach Joseph says something like, he's going to look at everybody, and the young guys are going to get a chance? Like, how do you see some of your teammates respond in the last couple weeks in those kind of moments?
Yeah, I think definitely they responded really well because, you know, they know that people are going to be checking them out now. So, you know, everyone's kind of on their toes, you know, hoping they make the right plays, which is good for us because we need more guys to step up to kind of fill in those roles like when needed be, because we can't have guys playing, you know, 80, 90 snaps a game. We gotta have guys that can fill in.
Brody, Omar Brown was moved from safety to nickel. Just you probably have gone against him, run some routes. Just what does Omar bring to now the nickel position?
Yeah, I think he brings a lot of strength to the nickel room. He's really good man-to-man guy. I think he can, you know, excel in the cover game, and you know, he's also a good run stopper for us, and I'm happy for him to be there, and I think he'll exceed in that position.
Do more for Brody.
Brody, what Coach talked about refreshing, resetting. What's these next 2 months looking like in your guys? What are the goals? What can you guys accomplish in this?
Yeah, you know, we're still talking about the West. You know, we're only 0-1 in conference play. But like I said before, you know, it's kind of a week-to-week thing. Every week we're trying to go 1-0, and as Coach Mickey says, you know, there's 8 stop signs left, and this week Indiana's on it, so we're just going by a week-to-week thing, and we're trying to go 1-0 every week.
Hey, Brody, knowing how much Indiana wants to run plays and kind of chew up time, how important is it for you guys to execute on your end to not let the game kind of play into their hands?
Yeah, no, definitely. We got to execute on offense for sure. Like Mickey said, we're trying to hold the ball a little bit more on our side too to kind of get the defense off the field a little bit longer. But, you know, if the plays are going to dwindle down, that means we got to execute on about every single play this week. And, you know, I think we're up for the challenge, and we got a lot of stuff in.
Thank you, Brody.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
All right, questions?
What's been some of the biggest changes Coach Bush has implemented with you guys here in the last week?
Yeah, obviously, when he stepped into that role, he obviously had some different words for us, I would say, different style of defense. We're going to change some things up. And then we did a few different things in practice. Obviously, the practice schedule is a little bit different with Coach Joseph and kind of what Bush wants from the defense. So those were the main biggest things, I would say.
I think he likes the way that Bill meets you guys in the middle as far as seeing how you guys learn and adjusting his teaching style that way. What would you say is your learning style, and how would you say Bush has sort of met you there?
Yeah, I think Coach Bush does a good job of that. Obviously, learning these new words and stuff and knowing what we need to do in each of them and then translating that to the field. Obviously, when you get practice on the field, you're going to, for me at least, I remember it better when I've actually had in-person live reps with it, you know. So obviously in practice today, we got some live reps with these new words and stuff. So I think that was big over the bye week, is to put in these, and we had some time to kind of learn them. So I think that was one of our major emphases over the bye week.
How would you size up the run defense so far, and what sort of you think needs to improve, you know, in these next few weeks?
Yeah, obviously it's not been what we've wanted it to be. And usually if you look at it, it's usually just one person out of their gap, one person did something wrong. So usually that's what we're finding with this, and we just kind of need to tighten up and just kind of do our own job. If everyone does their own job, everything will work out perfect for us. So I think that's kind of been our emphasis, is just doing your job. Everyone has to do their job. D-line, obviously, getting some knockback, linebackers flowing, and then obviously the DBs making some tackles when they need to. So
do you feel it's more assignment misses than like getting beat physically, or is it a combination, or how would you square that up?
Oh, I wouldn't say that necessarily. I'd say it's a combination probably. I think people usually know where they're supposed to be. It's just whether they get there or maybe they didn't know where they're supposed to be. And that's kind of a thing. Maybe we had some checks that a lot of stuff was running through our head and stuff. Where do we need to be on this? Where do we need to be on that? I think Bush is trying to kind of condense that stuff down and make it more simple for us, so we may have less calls and stuff like that. So,
How do you feel like that could help you, the simplification?
yeah, I think you can just play faster if you know where you're supposed to be, and everything's not so confusing. I think it's easier to just play, instead of thinking, oh, where do I need to be on this play? If we can just simple it down and just play.
To your point about a lot of stuff going through your head, I don't know if you've felt that so far, but what is that in general? What's it like when you there's a lot going through your head, you can't kind of get what you're supposed to be?
Yeah, I mean, from a D-line standpoint, our stuff is pretty basic. Obviously, the other positions have more stuff, I think, to deal with as far as mentally, especially linebackers. They're making all these calls for us, telling us where to be and stuff like that. So I'd say maybe more on their thing, and we're really focused on getting the call, getting our feet set, getting ready to play the down, so we can try and win the down, put us in the best spot.
You've undergone some physical games leading up, so what was the bye week like for you, and what did you focus on?
Yeah, obviously the bye week, we were focused on technique, stuff like that, and then we got a couple days off, so really to get my body right for that. Played around the golf, so that was fun. But yeah, just kind of getting the body right. Watched a couple football games. Didn't do too much.
Getting some younger guys some new looks this last week or two. Who are some guys maybe at your position or on the defense who you'd be excited to see a little bit more about what they could do?
Yeah, I think in the D-line room we got a lot of good younger guys that are developing, and obviously it's an open competition every week. If they show that they're up there and they can play, then they're going to play. And I think Nash hasn't played as much as he would like. I think he's been doing a good job. Obviously some younger guys, Ruquan, Keese, people like them. So I think it's a good thing to have that open competition. Makes us work for what we play for, So.
How'd you shoot golf-wise?
Decent. Yeah, we went to Iron Horse. It was kind of a tough. Teammates. Who won? Well, we played a scramble, 3-man scramble. We didn't win. Yeah. Yeah, it was fun though.
Yeah, scrambles are
nice little getaway.
Yep.
Thanks, Cole. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
What's the biggest changes you've seen with Coach Bush as opposed to what you're doing previously?
Really the biggest thing is Coach Bush is just trying to, I wouldn't say simplify everything, but kind of make it so we can get our feet set in the ground and we can just play. A lot of his emphasis has just been having your feet in the ground ready to go at all times and having your eyes in the right place at all times too.
This week with who you're playing, how important is it that you're simplified, knowing Indiana is going to try to snap it in a hurry almost every time?
It's going to be big, We don't have as many checks. We don't have as many different calls to whatever formation they come out in. So a lot of it, you guys are just going to see us get lined up fast, and we'll be matching the tempo way better this week. So it should be fun.
Your guys' depth chart had a number of changes on the twos and the three lines in the secondary. How have you seen guys respond to that, and maybe what are you looking forward to seeing from some of those other guys this weekend?
This week has been even last week was all competition, great competition. So everybody knows, even myself, nobody's spot is secured. Even though we're heading into the 5th week, everybody still has to grind like you're trying to earn your spot. So a lot of guys, everybody's been taking it great, feeding off of each other's energy, and having a great time at practice as well as staying focused and, competing out there every play.
How beneficial was it to get a few days off?
Me personally, it was great. Getting the time. Football is, I wouldn't say draining, but mentally it's a lot on you, especially the higher level you get, the more your body needs time to rest, you know. So I feel like those few days we had off definitely did a great number for a lot of the guys who have been getting a lot of reps, you know, being able to get down, sit down off your feet, watch some football games on Saturday and Sunday, you know, have a good time to like just chill and relax. I went back to Dallas, so I watched my little brother's football game Friday night and then just chill with my family the rest of the weekend until I had to come back Sunday.
Marquise, are you guys able to stay away from, you know, what so much of the attention around this program is on right now, the stuff that's outside of football, you know, about the coaching situation? What do you do? Are you able to keep that locked out?
Yeah. I feel like it's relatively easy to block it all out as long as you just stay off social media. Social media, a lot of the time, that's where everything is involving, you know, coaches changes and people really on the outside just saying stuff that, and we'll know internally like it's nothing like that going on. So really, I don't have any social media notifications on my phone. I know that's what I do to stay away from all that different stuff. It's not like anybody is calling our phones or texting us about a bunch of nonsense. It's really just, if you want to see it, you'll see it. If you don't, then you don't have to.
Omar Brown was at safety previously, but this week he moved down to nickel. What have you seen from Omar? What would make him in that spot?
Omar is just a ball player, you know. I feel like he can move anywhere in the secondary and be a great asset for us. He's athletic, he's physical, he's fast. So just having him on the field, being able to get him any place we can possibly get him on the field is going to be great for us.
Jaden Gold and Hartzog were on the 2 deep. I mean, they're young guys. What have they kind of shown you as they've grown through their first year in the program?
Those two guys have grown up pretty fast, I'll say. I tell Jaden, seeing that we play safety, we both play safety, I tell him a lot that he reminds me of myself when I first got here as far as like how fast he was able to learn the defense and how adaptive he's been to the training and everything. Malcolm is the same way. They take everything, they take all the criticism and they take it with their head up high and they just come out every day ready to learn and, you know, get better.
On the outside, I guess people probably think, you know, staff changes like coach leaving, coordinator leaving can be pretty disruptive, but you find that college guys move on. I mean, do you move on pretty fast and know what's next, or how have you seen guys just sort of handle that? Just that part of it.
I know me personally, I take it like, you know, we still got a game next week and we don't have a choice but to come out and win. So for me, you can't let everything, you know, detour your mind off of the main thing. The main thing always has to stay the main thing. And I would say that's pretty much where we've been trying to keep everybody's head out in the locker room. We know that the coaches we have on the staff are great people. They're great coaches. So we just got to trust them and trust that they have our best interests and that they're going to do everything to, you know, put us in the right positions. Because at the end of the day, all they can do is put us in the positions. We have to go out on the field and make the plays.
Any questions? All right. Just a minute.
Yeah, a little sore, sprained ankle, but I'll be good to go on Saturday.
When's the last time you had to make a tackle like that?
Montana versus Idaho last year, we had 2 tackles on kickoff. I don't have a problem hitting people. I did Taekwondo growing up. I actually kind of enjoy it, believe it or not. So, yeah.
What happened? Did you just land on it wrong?
Yeah, like I kind of went down to tackle the guy and got rolled up on a little bit, but yeah, I'll be good to go Saturday.
What was it like punting through that? Like, was it your kicking foot? Or was
Yeah,
it
so I changed my form. I started doing a one-step punt because I had no explosiveness off my plant, and I've been working that the last couple days. And I'll be doing that on Saturday again probably, but it's really not a huge change. I work a drill called the one-step drill with my kicking coaches. We do that all the time, so it's really not that different.
What's Coach Connors kind of brought as the new special teams coordinator?
Yeah, we all love Joey. It's a great opportunity for him. He's probably one of the younger coordinators at FBS, and so he's been really close with the specialist unit because he's been with us like when Coach Bush has to go work like big team stuff in the past. So we are really close with Joey and have a special like relationship with him, but there's not too many changes as far as big scheme goes. We're kind of going to run the same stuff that we have been, and I have a lot of confidence in the guys that we've put out there because obviously we've done pretty good so far this year, and I think we'll you might see a couple new people out there, but as far as like base stuff goes, Coach Connors kind of going to do the same thing that Coach Bush was doing.
What's he like to work with? What's his personality like? What's important to him?
Yeah, he's really energetic, but he's super positive. He's not going to drag you down super hard if you have a mistake. He's going to kind of positively reinforce you to do better, and I think that's a really good trait to have, especially when it comes to kicking and punting, because sometimes you'll have a miss hit and you don't want to get like too down on yourself. And I'm really appreciative for Coach Connors for keeping us up and keeping our spirits high if things don't go great.
Brody Belt described Bill Bush as the good kind of hard ass.
Okay.
From your experience working with Bill, how does that apply to him?
I just think you can just tell how badly he wants to win, and it's not always going to be he'll appreciate you when you do really well too. It's not one of those things where you come to practice and you're just going to get screamed at for 2 hours and then you're going to leave. Coach Bush wants us to do so well, and the standard is super high, and we just keep raising the standard every day when we come to practice. And I think that's what Brody's talking about is that's the standard you need if you want to be good in the Big Ten, and that's a really good thing to have as a coach, is a high standard, because low standards get you beat, and Coach Bush sets a high standard and he expects us to meet that, and when we don't, he'll let you know about it, but when you do, he'll also let you know about it. So I think that's what he meant when he said the good kind of coaches, he'll really appreciate you when you do your job well.
Brian, I know you're a student of punting. Have you been able to gain appreciation yet for some punters in the Big Ten and so that Rutgers Iowa game the other night got some real attention for the 2 punters?
Yeah, it's pretty special. I feel really lucky to be a part of this conference. I have a lot of affinity for the Iowa punter and the punter at Michigan State. I think he is really good as well. I think a lot of times we get caught up in national statistics, but the punter at Iowa, for example, his net isn't going to be number 1 in the country this year, but you look at how many he's forced fair catches, how many he has inside the 20. He doesn't always have opportunity to hit a 60-yard punt because you have short fields and stuff. So you kind of have to dive deep into statistics to tell who's really good at punting, because some guys will get short hang time and then get a super long roll and stuff. But in the Big Ten West, all the punters are really good. And yeah, I watched that Iowa Rutgers game and it was really entertaining, if you ask me.
Consider it a competition when you're out there and you're punting and the other guy's punting?
Yeah.
You have to pay attention?
I would say it's a really friendly competition, because punters and kickers, we all kind of have a close-knit group. We all train with coaches that are similar in the off-season, so we'll meet up with guys and we'll see them and talk to them throughout the off-season. And last game versus Oklahoma, I know their punter pretty well, and he's a really good guy, and obviously he has a huge leg. And so every time I step out there on the field, I kind of just hope that they do really well, because it's kind of cool to watch.
Most people, when they watch football, someone lines up to punt, it's all right, time to go grab a snack or something. What's it like to watch a punter on TV with a punter, people in the room with you? What is it like for you to watch those?
Yeah, I mean, I get a lot of questions being the punter. They ask me what's this, what's that, what is this a good punt, is this not? A lot of people don't understand how important things like direction and hang time are. Someone will hit a 60-yard punt and they'll run it back 20 yards. and people will be like, oh, that was such a great punt, but really it wasn't. Like, all you want is like 46-46, 47-47, because, you know, obviously last game I had a miss hit that got run back because I didn't get good direction, didn't get good hang time, and that's on me. That's not on the coverage guys or anything, and a lot of people don't understand that. I think that watch football.
You say you did Taekwondo.
Yeah.
How involved was that?
7 years. I got a black belt, so I did it for a long time. We kind of did it as a family thing growing up, but my older sister was the best at it, and you gotta really watch out for her. She's really good.
Where do you sense this team is at? Just Mickey Joseph talked about getting reset, sort of a new season.
Yeah.
You've been on winning squads before. I mean, what do you feel like this team's mentality to kind of overcome what's happened?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy because so much has gone on through the first 4 weeks of the season. It kind of feels like, holy cow, the season's been going on forever, but it hasn't. We're only a third of the way through. We still have, you know, like 7, 8 games of Big Ten play, and so we're 0-1 in Big Ten play, and the top team is 1-0. And so we have all our goals out there in front of us. That's one thing Coach Joseph has been preaching. I think we have to reset, and we have this mentality of wanting to go 1-0 each game. Because one thing is you can't get too focused on the big goal, like, oh, we want to go to Indianapolis. Well, yeah, but you have to be focused on going 1-0 each week in order to get to Indianapolis. And I think that's one thing that he's done a really good job of is our focus this week is playing Indiana and beating Indiana. And whatever happens next happens next.
I think you said that Bush is good at understanding different guys' learning styles and meeting them there.
Yeah.
How would you describe your learning style, and how did Bush meet you there?
Yeah, I mean, you can yell at me pretty good and get on me. I think I respond best to that is kind of a wake-up call. Because I think if, you know, coaches, quote-unquote, like soft with me, sometimes the standard might get lowered a little bit. So just keeping me accountable to the standard that is high, that's kind of how he helped me the most. And he's, you know, obviously changed that for different guys in our group. But I think, you know, with him moving to the defense, I think that'll be really good for them. And I'm really excited to see what happens on Saturday.
Coach Joseph talked a lot about getting younger guys some looks. How much does that apply to special teams or some guys maybe that could step into bigger roles? Or
Yeah, I think we've had really good depth on our punt team. I think that's one thing that I'm super blessed to have is a bunch of really good guys in front of me. As far as gunner play, I think that I'm gonna leave that up to Joey in Indiana. I'll find out on Saturday. But I mean, there's guys, and whoever's the best at their position is gonna play. That's what I think Coach was meaning by that. And there's a bunch of kids who've come in and freshmen who've really put their name out there. And I mean, they deserve to play on Saturdays, and they will.
Anything else for Brian?
You see the butt punt yesterday?
I did. That's not on the punter. It's not the punter.
All right, thanks, Brian.
All right, appreciate it.
get this crew neck or what?
Our fan activity on Friday night at 7 o'clock, men's and women's both. We'll open the floor for questions for Wilhelm.
Basketball season, huh? How's it feel?
It's exciting for sure. It's definitely been a long time coming. We've been working hard, so it's definitely exciting.
Well, and what's the process been like coming back from your injury, and just how are you feeling physically now?
I mean, I'm feeling pretty good. I'd say I'm pretty much back, feeling good, full go. So, I mean, it's been a tough process, definitely a long one. So, it's just good to be back on the court.
How long have you felt that you were full go?
I'd say probably a couple months at least. I mean, I've been doing full practice for longer than that, but it's been kind of working out some kinks, knocking some rust off. So.
Talked to you earlier in the summer, but since then, even how have you seen guys sort of mesh together? This new nucleus that's forming. What have you gotten out of your time on the court with them?
I think it's been really valuable. I mean, we definitely have gelled a lot. Just we spend a lot of time with each other, have gotten to know each other pretty well. So it's been pretty easy to work with everybody, and we're just all good friends really, which I think is important.
Have you noticed any difference between the way this group has gelled compared to the previous new rosters, or at least the previous roster that you were a part of last year?
I mean, it's just a matter of getting to know the guys on your team. So just getting to gel with them, getting to connect with them however you can. I mean, it's kind of the same year to year, but I think we've been pretty good this year. I've grown pretty close. So.
Sounds like Derek said that last year he felt like he was the one guy that was stepping up and talking in practice and saying the things that need to be said. Now, there's 2 or 3, 4 other guys that are willing to step up and be that voice on and off the floor. Have you seen that have a difference in just this whole offseason process?
Absolutely. I think it's good because we do have obviously some leaders, but I think everybody works together and everybody gives each other feedback rather than just 1 or 2 people. Everybody's been very good about, talking to each other, not getting upset when we correct each other, and kind of holding each other accountable has been very easy, and it's definitely a valuable thing to have in a team.
How does Sam Griesel look? You got without him for a lot of the summer. How's he look since he's been back?
I mean, he's pretty good. I mean, anybody who's seen him play could say that. I mean, he's a really good player, a really good point guard, a good leader, so he's definitely great to play with.
What makes him a good player?
I'd say just his decision making. He doesn't get sped up very easily. He's a good leader. He's a lead by example type of guy. He always plays hard, is always doing the right things in the right spots. So.
What makes him a good leader?
Just like I said, he leads by example. He's always going hard. He doesn't have off days. I mean, he just does what needs to be done. He does the right things. So.
You say he leads by example. What is the example he sets?
Just going hard. I mean, nobody ever has to get on him to give more effort. He's the leader of the team. He knows all the positions. So if somebody doesn't know a spot in a play or whatever, he talks them through it. So he kind of orchestrates everything, I'd say.
How does it help to get him back in terms of like incorporating him as leader? Like he can talk on the side, but how does it help to have him out there working with you guys?
It's definitely helpful. I mean, having been sidelined for so long myself, it's definitely different coaching from the sideline versus being on the court with the guys. So information is always valuable no matter how it's coming, but it's definitely good to have him back out on the court.
From your perspective, I know you like to have a voice. What was the incorporation process like for you once you got back out onto the court and feeling comfortable voicing your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly an adjustment just because I have to focus on my own personal get back as well, just learning the plays, kind of getting back into the basketball flow. So I certainly have to work on myself as well, but I see things on the sideline, and now it's just a matter of I have that, I can bring that insight onto the court as well.
Some new faces on the coaching staff this year too. How have Adam Howard, Ernie Ziegler had their influence made so far in the first work that you've been able to do with them?
I'd say they're very helpful. They're genuine people. Coach Howard always brings energy. He's kind of always in the gym hyping guys up, showing people love. And then Coach Ziegler, he talks a lot on the side. If he sees something, he'll say something. So he's very, very insightful.
What does the idealized version of this team look like? Like, how do you guys want to play? What do you want it to look like?
I'd say just start on defense. I mean, we've been really getting after it on defense, which I think people will see. I mean, we make it hard on the offense, even each other. Like, we're always going full speed, talking, being physical, being aggressive. So I'd say defense first, and then on offense, we like to share the ball. So yeah.
Talk about chemistry being an offensive thing and being able to work together and share the ball, like you said. How much of that stuff that you guys do off the court to build a bond and stuff, how much does that translate on the defense end?
It definitely translates. Just as far as talking and getting to know people, you kind of know how a person's going to act, know how they're going to react, so it makes it a lot easier once you know somebody outside of basketball.
Offensively, and you guys lost a lot of your scoring from last year. How is that going to look with this group? And is it maybe an opportunity for other guys to get more involved in the offense when you don't have those necessarily defined go-to scores?
Yeah, I mean, you need 5 guys to win a game regardless. So people are going to be scoring. Everybody's going to have their day. It's just you can't have just a couple guys scoring. So just sharing the ball, getting guys open shots. I mean, we have shooters, we have playmakers, so it doesn't really matter one way or another.
How do you view your role on offense?
Just do what I need to do. Like if I have an open shot, I'll shoot it. If not, I'll facilitate, drive and kick, something like that. Try to get rebounds, just kind of mix things up however I need to.
How has Derek maybe kind of been a mentor to you, obviously being one of the oldest guys on the team, playing a similar position?
Yeah, he's definitely a guy I look up to, especially since I've got here. Just kind of the way he moves, the way he acts is just something he's pretty professional, which I think is good. And he's a guy who, if he notices something's off, he'll come talk to you as a person and kind of be willing to work things through with you. So I definitely respect him a lot.
How important is it to have a guy like that on the team?
I'd say it's pretty important just because everybody has their off days. It doesn't matter who you are. So to have guys who are willing to pick you up and kind of not push you down, which is our whole team's the same way. Everybody's going to pick each other up. Everybody's going to talk to each other and figure things out.
Fred has talked about his thought this team can be a lot better on the boards. You see, with Jawan and Blaze even being part of it, do you see that improve?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, they're obviously very aggressive, and then it also helps us because we have to box them out. So I think it goes both ways because those guys, they're relentless. They'll crash every time, do what they need to do to try to tip the ball, get a rebound. So it definitely works both ways.
What about the guards? How do they look? Or, everyone else wings guards. How do they look in that regard, rebounding?
Really good, I'd say. I mean, everybody has their role when it comes to rebounding, but they do their jobs really well, whether it's getting back or boxing somebody out, hitting somebody. So.
No, doesn't hurt to have a bunch of 6'5", 6'6" guards.
Right. Yeah.
What do you like about this time of year? Starting practice, starting to build something.
It's exciting for sure. Just the season's right around the corner. Getting more time on the floor is definitely always exciting. It's high energy, so we just got to keep it that way.
Confidence-wise in your team, where you at there?
I'd say I'm back.
Anything else, Wilhelm? Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Switch, we'll bring up Emmanuel. Next, we'll bring up Emmanuel Vandemel. Everyone's ready. We'll open the floor for questions.
Manuel, how is this process of getting this group with a lot of new faces
To gel together on the court, and now that you're officially in practices on the court?
I mean, it's been pretty easy with this team. I think everybody kind of love each other, genuinely love each other. I think we hang out a lot together. After practice, we love to do stuff together as a whole, a team. Actually, all 16, 15, all of us together doing some stuff, going to football games and stuff like that. So it's actually easier to translate that to the court and have them kind of tough, tough conversations. So it's easy for us to have them and take, the critiques and, move on with it. I think we do a good job of that. So it's been pretty smooth.
Around some successful teams at SMU, have you seen similarities between the way this group has gelled compared to some of your previous teams?
Definitely. I mean, just the way we started, to do it during the summer, it's a short turnaround to have new faces, literally from freshmen to vets, and just everybody is in the same wagon, and we just going in the same direction. And if somebody's losing track for 2 seconds, we bring them back in, and then I think we do a good job of like, we know what we need to do to be successful this year, and I think everybody's just buying in. So.
What do successful teams do at this point in the season that breed success later on?
I mean, I think it's just about building habits because, coming from different teams, some coming from high school, fresh from high school, others coming from other teams, and the values are different, the culture is different, and I think now it's just about like, making sure that we build the good habits, to be an excellent team at the end of towards the end of the year, because it's not like a preseason thing that we all gel together, we all 100%, we're gonna be the best team now. It's like towards the year that we're gonna see it happen, and I think that we were heading in the right direction. I think we really we're doing the right things every day, coming in and doing the work that we're supposed to do, trusting the coaches, trusting our teammates, the whole Nebraska staff, even the other people working with us, like strength coach and all of that. I think we do a good job of making sure that we 100% are ready for the season.
How does Sam look? Sam Griesel?
Great. I was excited to play with him, but now to be with him on the court is kind of funny sometimes because we kind of play with each other really well, and he understands his position on the court. You'll never be in the wrong position. He's always on the right position, right time, making the right passes and stuff. So I think it's really easier to play with him out there, especially him being a big guard. A big point guard is something we can take advantage of. So yeah, it's been pretty cool. He's been great actually.
Wilhelm said he doesn't easily get sped up. That seems like quite a compliment. How hard is that to do for a point guard or not, have that happen?
I mean, for me, I love to guard people full court, and I try to do that with Sam at practice. And the funny part is I never get him to speed it. I can never get the time to speed him up. He's always moving at his own pace, and he understands. And he's used his body pretty well. He's 6'7", probably 215, 220. So he's gonna bump me off and literally take his time to take the ball up the court. So I think he does that pretty well. And he's got that little instinct in him of I'm not getting sped up. I know where I'm going, using my speed, using my body. I think he got that to the T. So yeah.
Talking about what this team ideally will look like when you guys start the season. Wilhelm said it starts with defense. Is that something that you've noticed too, that's really been a kind of a hallmark of what this group's going to be all about?
Definitely. I think that was a main aspect that we worked on this summer, that rebounding and being more physical. And we understand that was a weakness for us for the past years and last year too. And I think we understand that the offense is going to take care of itself. We are unselfish guys, move the ball around and that, but we know that to win the Big Ten, to win any conference, any leagues, it starts with defense and rebounding. And I think we buy into that and we put in the work in to get better actually.
What was that first practice like this morning? The enthusiasm related to it?
Their energy was through the roof. Everybody was. Everybody knew that was the first practice. We kind of approached it as we started back from, hit the reset button, actually. So it's the first practice for everybody. Now it was just about, bringing the energy, keep building on what we did this summer and all of that. And I think everybody was just really enthusiastic to be there and enjoy the, first official practice, actually, because we've been going at it for a minute now. And I think knowing that we can't getting closer to the season, I think we're getting, more excited. So, yeah.
It's just a scrimmage preseason event, but Friday you're going to make your unofficial debut as a Husker with fans in the stands. What are you looking forward to about Friday night?
I don't know. I'm kind of excited. Honestly, I'm kind of excited because to be on the court with my teammates, in front of the Husker fans and all, just to be in PBA, something that I actually never step a foot in the PBA yet. So it's going to be really excited to be in front of all those fans and all. And I think I'm just excited. It's just it's just a milestone that we getting closer to the season, that we getting closer to our goals, and we're about to do something great this year. So I'm just really excited about it.
Any nerves? I'll get in front of people?
Never actually. I'm really never nervous when it comes to basketball. I actually enjoy being on the court. Enjoy playing in front of all them fans. It's actually I took it as a blessing. They come in to see me play. I mean, me, but the team, and it's really exciting. I'm whenever they cheer for you and all.
Anxious? You're excited to get here?
I mean, yes, a little bit. A little bit. Not too much though.
You mentioned unselfishness with the offense.
Mhm.
What is this offense going to look like? What's the identity going to be on that end of the floor?
I'll tell you, a lot of ball movement, not as much as dribbling and, you know, taking bad shots. It's going to be a lot of ball movement, a lot of players in double digits, a lot of smile on their faces because we had a possession with like 20 plus passes and I think it's going to come down to this and come down to like making sure that everybody touch the ball, everybody can play to their strengths, and that's what we're going to see this year, I'm pretty sure.
Does this group have the right makeup for that? I mean, a lot of times egos get in the way and guys want their touches and their shots. Is this group okay with having that type of spread out?
We got the same agenda. That's what I think we got. We got the same agenda. I don't think anybody's thinking about their numbers. I think we actually thinking about, okay, what can I do to make him get a shot? What can I do to get an assist? I think we're more worried about like getting rebounds, getting steals, deflection, than we're worried about, you know, taking shots on the other hand. I think that's gonna take care of itself, like I said earlier. So.
What's the line between good ball movement and overpassing?
I mean, with our team, I think, for example, like Wilhelm is a great shooter, CJ's a great shooter, Casey is a great shooter. So for us, it's like sometimes when we play at practice, it's like we got to remind each other, like, okay, look, we're good shooters. This is not a bad shot. Like, it's not because somebody closing out on it that you shouldn't take it. Actually take it. So we actually pushing each other like take shots because sometimes we overpass it. I think we get it down to like, you know, it's good to be unselfish, but at the same time we need to like, you know, get some points on the board. But I think we're doing pretty good jobs lately. Yeah, we get into kind of like the rhythm of it because, you know, everybody's really trying to do the right thing, and sometimes when you try and do the right thing like a little too much, you think about it. And I think right now it's just about, you know, being reactive and play. Yeah.
Anything else for Emmanuel? Thank you. We'll go to the break before Coach Hoiberg. Coach, do a quick opening statement first, and we'll open the floor for questions when the camera guys are ready. Ladies as well. Floor for Coach.
Am I good? Okay. All right, so had a really good opening day today, although it feels a little different from when I was playing, when October 15th was your actual opening day after no access to your coaching staff in the summer. A little different, obviously. We've been going at it since June and have got a really good feel for this group of guys. But with our first official day now in the books, talked how important it is to our six kind of guys that I've determined are the leaders of this team, formed a leadership group with them and talked about the importance of them coming in and really setting the tone for our team on this first day, and that's exactly what they did. And I'm really excited about this group. Friday is going to be a great night for us to get out in front of our fans. We're changing the format of what we've done in the past. Last year, for example, when it turned into a one-on-one battle with Alonso and Casey. So this year we're going to do more of an open practice in about a 30-minute span, and just get our guys out there to show a lot of the things that we've been working on without showing too much. And will be a good night for us to get out in front of people for the first time and really show what this group is all about. As far as an injury update, Karan McPherson had surgery last week. Everything went great. He's doing well. It's going to be a long road for him with the procedure that he had on his knee, but he's going to be fine, and looking forward to him getting back fully healthy. He will miss the entire year. As far as Sam Griesel, since we've been back in school with the fall semester when it started, Sam has been on a load restriction, but he is making it through most of the practice. He is full contact now. His load today, he made it all the way through. We'll have an off day tomorrow. The way it works is first day of practice technically was yesterday, and we have 42 days before the first contest, and we get 30 practices, so we have to take 12 days off. Yesterday was the first one. Tomorrow will be the second one, and as we continue to ramp up, Sam's load will get higher and higher. Wilhelm has been awesome. Have no restrictions with him at this time after the procedure that he had last season. So with that, I guess I'll open it up to questions.
Who are the six guys in your leadership group?
I'll keep that between us, Robin. But we've got six guys that I've really kind of determined, are the group. Some of the older, most of them older players, and we've got one younger guy in that group. But it's a group of guys that kind of started at my house last week, and we're going to meet every week just to really get a pulse on what's going on with the group. We have our culture day on Friday, which has been really good. A lot of that led by the leadership group, and I think it's paid dividends for us going into the season. And again, it was one of the big things that I talked to our staff about in the off season, is really to try to go out there and find guys that have been a part of winning programs. And when you look at Sam Griesel, played in the NCAA tournament. You look at Juwan Gary, he's been on a team that won the SEC championship, been on a team in the Sweet 16. Manuel Bandamel, back-to-back years as double-digit scorers on a team that's played in the postseason. So Blaze Chieda won a junior college national championship 2 seasons ago. So, you can see it. You can see with those guys what they've been through, and when you hit adversity in a practice session or somebody gets a little bit out of line, how quickly that they get that guy back into it. And it's been fun. It's been fun to see those guys really kind of come together. The amount of time they spend off the court, and it's just a really tight group that you don't always have in this business. So again, a lot of that is been spearheaded by those older players.
Is there an excitement that comes along with the first practice of camp?
There used to be. Now they walk in, it's like, oh, we got to go to practice again. But yeah, back when I was October 15, it was two things for me. It was my birthday, and it was always the first day of practice. And there was always an excitement for that day. Back in those days, coaches, they couldn't even watch. Not only could you not work with them, they couldn't even watch you work out when you played pickup. So it was all organized by the players. And we basically played pickup in the summers, or in my case, I did an internship with a brokerage firm and then went and worked out with the team. Now, and you worry about burnout with these guys. With as much access as we have to them now, with starting for the first summer session on June 8th, Luca, June 8th. You know, we get basically 4 weeks. They get a couple days off, and then we get the second summer session. So we get 8 weeks of access to our players with 4 hours on the court and 4 hours in the weight room. And we really, you know, Kurt Joseph, who's as good as any in the business, you know, is heading our strength and conditioning department. That's really what that time is for. You know, it's much more for them to really build their bodies up to prepare them for the workload that we're putting on them now. So that's our summer, is a lot of that, a lot of individual skill work. And now the fall workouts, we start putting in more of our concepts in more of a team type format as opposed to small groups, which we did over the course of the summer. And now obviously with the time, you know, that's the biggest difference. You go from 4 hours a week now to 20. And, you know, you get a lot of time to bring them back in and do individual film sessions with them and get them back. We got a bunch of guys coming back over this afternoon for individual skill work. So that's the biggest difference, is just the amount of time that we get with them once we start actual official practices.
Karan being out for the year and Sam still being on a bit of a load management schedule. With the point guard position, what is the level of concern there, and who are maybe some other players that can help with the depth there this season?
Yeah, you know, one that's actually been really good with the ball in his hands is Emmanuel. And, you know, we saw some of that last year. He played with a great point guard at SMU that's now playing at Memphis that had the ball in his hands most of the time. When Emmanuel had opportunities, we saw that he was a very good playmaker. And so we've put some of that responsibility on him. And, you know, I've kind of given it to Griesel, I've given it to him. Ramel is playing with the ball in his hands. Cale Jacobson is playing. He's given us really solid minutes with the ball in his hands. I feel good about a couple front court guys initiating offense, with Derek being one of them, and also with Wilhelm. And, you know, we've put some responsibility on those guys as well, especially when we're getting pressured, which we're going to see some of that early in the season with some of the teams that we're playing. But, you know, I've been pleased, especially Emmanuel. He's got a ton of experience. You know, he's certainly going to be able to take, you know, some of that ball handling, initiating of the offense. And so, again, some of our younger guys have shown flashes as well.
Well, I mean, Emmanuel, we're talking about how it sounds like this is going to be a team with a defensive identity. What qualities does the roster have that embodies that sort of identity?
Yeah, I think, Jimmy, with what we have added on this team, I think length is the most important part of that. When you've got a guy, you know, the head of the snake with your defense with Sam Griesel at 6'7", you know, Emmanuel, his ability to pick up full court, you know, put pressure, really moves his feet. Denham Dawson has been awesome. You know, he leads our team in deflections. We've been charting all of our practices, and he's got great defensive instincts. You know, getting Wilhelm back out there right now at the 4. Jawan's got good length. You know, can guard really. I'm comfortable with him guarding 1 through 5. And a guy that's been as good as anybody's Blaze. He has picked things up. He leads us in charges by a wide margin. And in talking to his coaches and the people that have been around him, they talk about there's no shock with that, just how important he was in anchoring the defense. So, you know, just I think overall length is where we have added the most as far as what will give us, you know, more of a defensive mindset with this group, or defensive identity, I should say, is because of positional size and positional length.
I saw you with the Charge T-shirt in that picture on Twitter a couple weeks ago. How are you guys embracing that culture as
I looked
coaches?
pretty good in it, didn't I, Jimmy? You know, it is something that we're really challenging our guys to do. And it's also, you know, for us, from an offensive standpoint, you know, we're calling everything. You know, if they're in position, they get down there, we're calling a ton of charges right now. So it's forcing our offense to play under control, you know, which we've gotten better at as this thing's gone on. We're doing a better job of taking care of the ball by going in and playing under control. But yeah, the guys have really taken a challenge with it. Every day we make a defensive edit for them and put it, you know, in the portal where they can go in and watch and, you know, see the mistakes that are being made, and then going back and correcting. Now that we've got more time, we'll be able to do that more on the floor. But we're making things for these guys to give them access to go back and learn, and then, you know, hopefully not make the same mistakes again. But our guys were flying around. I mean, it was a, you know, they're covering for each other. You know, we're putting them in a lot of rotation just based on the way that we're playing on that end of the floor this year. But yeah, it's a group that's really bought into that.
Coach, what are you kind of hoping to get done this year? I mean, it's early on to kind of determine this, but when the year comes to an end, what do you want to look back on and say you accomplished?
Well, I hope we win. I mean, that's obviously at the end of the day, what we're all going to be judged on is, how many times we get in that left column, and it's going to be for me. What I'm looking at every day is, are we making progress? Are we continuing to ramp up? We can't afford to take steps in the wrong direction and then have to, go back up. But, obviously we're taking every day as a learning opportunity. This has been a very process-oriented group where, they take the challenge. You look at what some of our guys accomplished in the offseason. CJ Wilcher lost 15 pounds. He's a completely different player right now because of what he's doing as far as taking care of his body. Derek's doing a really good job right now getting his body in the type of shape that he needs to be in. Wilhelm, Sam Griesel, those injuries they had were serious injuries. And, the commitment to getting in and rehabbing with RJ, with our trainer, with Kurt in the weight room, and with our sports scientist, Matt, as far as all being there together on the same page, to get these guys back to where they need to be, where very soon they're not going to have a load management. They're going to be full go. And, Sam's coming back to shoot today at 3:30. A couple of the other guys as well. He wouldn't have been able to do that a couple weeks ago. But he's been so diligent in his rehab, as well as Wilhelm, and that's going to allow us to do a lot more things.
Brett, offensively, where do you see your points coming from?
Well, I think it'll be much more balanced attack than what we've had. I think some of the most successful teams I had, my previous stops, were when we had balanced offense. And, we put in a little bit different system this year that's really promoting ball movement. And, I think we've got a lot of guys that can make plays. And, last year we went to a lot of misdirection type ball screens at the end of the year, and we had a lot of success with that. We need to get off, obviously, to a better start. We need to do a better job of closing out games when we have opportunity. When you look at last season, the amount of close games we lost, that affects your confidence. That affects your execution down the stretch. In what I've been on teams that have won those close games, and it's just night and day. What it does to your overall mindset. So, I think this group will handle that better. Obviously, we'll see once we start playing games in November. But it's a group that I'm excited to go to battle with.
Right. Do you feel any extra pressure personally, given what your record has been here heading into this season?
I feel pressure every day of my life. It's just what comes with this job.
Why do you think this group is better suited to handle the kind of pressure that comes with the close games?
I think, part of it is experience, and, part of it is having guys that have been in those moments, playing in the postseason, having guys that have, been there and had success. I think that's a big part of it. Again, last year, the way it ended, we figured it out, but, we need to figure it out earlier. And to have guys that have been through it and have that experience, I think will help.
How differently do you feel about this team's rebounding potential compared to even a year ago?
Well, again, I think it's size. You got a really good rebounder in Blaze, one of the top rebounders in junior college the last couple of years. Juwan Gary's a relentless rebounder on both ends of the floor, really gets after it, especially offense. He needs to do a better job of blocking out the other end, but he goes after that thing hard. Denham is a guy that can go get it. So again, when you have positional size and length, it definitely makes things easier on that end of the floor as far as finishing off the possession with a rebound.
It sounds like Blaze is basically everything you kind of hope for, an initial impression of what he could add.
Yeah, it's such an adjustment. I think you saw some of that with Casey last year. And, you look at the summer Casey had, he had 33 against Australia in his last game of the summer in FIBA ball. Australia's top 5 team in the world. And Casey hits 9 threes against them. So, Casey, I think having a year under his belt now and having the type of summer that he did where he led the Japanese national team in scoring will help him immensely. So you look at Blaze coming in now, and just every night going against, especially in our league, the quality of bigs that he's going to see on a nightly basis, it's an adjustment. But Blaze has picked things up so quickly. I knew I liked Blaze. I didn't know he was going to be as good as he is, as fast as he has. So, just physicality, rebounding, like I said earlier, taking charges. He's just done a little bit of everything for this group, screening, and then ability to score it in the paint.
To your point about the balance balanced attack. Emmanuel was up here talking about how, you know, guys kind of have to nudge each other. It's like, hey, you can shoot that one. What's the line between good ball movement and overpassing?
Yeah, that's a great question, Jimmy. It's the first one you've ever. No, I'm just kidding. So, it's, you know what, for it is a good question, because we have had guys that have passed up open shots, and you know, CJ, if he has any daylight, I want CJ shooting the ball. Casey has any daylight, I want him shooting the ball. You know, Jamarcus is really coming on. He's shooting the ball. Ramel is coming on. Our freshmen are getting good. We've got to, you know, we're going to have a huge decision on our hands as far as who's going to be in a rotation, because a lot of guys have shown flashes, you know, of doing really good things. Wilhelm's, you know, again, I know this doesn't mean anything, but, you know, my point is, when they have open looks, we want them to take them. But if the next one's there to be made, the extra pass or the getting in the pocket, making the quick extra one on a read based on where the defense is, you know, we want to make that extra pass. But it has been a very unselfish group, and I've been really pleased with that early on.
You've gone through off seasons where you've had to get a lot of new faces to try to gel going into a season. Some groups have had more difficult times than others. How does this team compare as far as where they are at this point compared to some of your previous teams?
Yeah, I mean, it's for this group, Robin, I think the fact that you have the amount of experience that we brought in, and again, if we had 3 weeks to get everything as far as a chemistry standpoint, to have to accomplish it in that short amount of time, but we get so much time, that should never be an excuse. Well, we got this many new faces. Well, hell, we had 8 weeks in the summer. You got another 4 weeks in the fall when you get here, and now you got another 5 weeks heading into the season. So that should never be an excuse. As far as what our guys have, you know, again, I'm just going to keep going back to, we have older guys on this team that have come in from winning programs. That should help in that area immensely.
Sorry, you mentioned Culture Friday. Are those team bonding activities? Go out, do something?
Yeah, team bonding, you know, speakers, you know, just getting together and making sure that we're living up to our core values. You know, just all those things that are so important. And again, this group has been so tight. You know, it's just, it's a fun, unique, you know, these days we're all sitting here looking at our phones, right? Whose phone is this? But anyway, you know, it's just one of those things where, you know, there's so many distractions out there, and it's a hard time to be a player. It's a hard time, you know, for guys like that, because there's so many distractions, and you try to tell them to limit them and, you know, to put those things down, but they're attached to them. And, you know, the fact that our guys are able to put that aside and come together is a great sign. Now, is that going to translate to wins and losses? It can't hurt. You know, it's going to help when those guys have a genuine care factor for each other out there on the floor. And, you know, I think part of that is chemistry and part of that is culture. And, you know, if you can get that where it needs to be, it's going to help you in those close games. It's going to help you in your overall bottom line of having more wins than losses.
What's your favorite ESTG song?
Oh man, Jimmy, another great question. You know, I'm going to figure that out today, Jimmy. That's my project.
What's the idea behind changing the format of the opening night?
Just again, I think it's going to give people a really good feel and a good look for what this team is about. You know, they're great. They communicate with each other. You know, they talk to each other out there on the floor. I just didn't like the way it looked the last couple of years. We went out there with the idea where we were going to get up and down, and then it was such a short amount of time. It just turned into basically a glorified all-star game. So, you know, I'm looking forward to, you know, getting out there and showing what this group's all about.
Brett, how's it been working with your new assistant coaches?
Yeah, it's been great. I've been really pleased with everything. We've been out on the road a lot. You know, September 9th is when we start our fall recruiting period. It's a tough time because you have your guys, you have the access to them, and then we can also obviously get out on the road and recruit. So we've been all over the country, you know, looking for the right fit. And, you know, got 2 guys that left right after practice today to hit the road. But I've been really pleased with our staff.
Anything else for Fred?
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.
Do open mic at